Do 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 do. Wanna 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 wanna. Bow bow. Bitty bow.
Skadoo-be-doo! Skadoo-be-doo!
Oh, whoa. Okay, well that song's over then. I'm sorry, everybody. Hello. How are you? I'm so glad you came. I look really tired. I'm still recovering. So I'm tired. Yeah. It's a Monday that feels like a Sunday. Wait, is it Monday? Yeah, it's Monday. It's a Monday that feels like a Sunday. It's a Monday that feels like a Sunday. But I don't know what else to call it. 'Cause it looks like a Sunday, but it feels like a Monday. Wait, that's the other way around. Money, 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 money. How is everyone? I hope you're good. Yeah, my car is now operational. I think that was like a sign. I bet that was a sign. And then I spent the rest of the day looking for any other uh, visits in the area that fuckwad Doug Frank would have. I did. It's true. I didn't find any. I think he deactivated his Telegram. Or I'm banned. That could be it. But I thought if you were banned, you could still see their Telegram. And then you would just, like, you're not able to chat. Which, believe me, is not, you're not missing anything. Well, no, Telegram's terrible. It's dead. Telegram is dead. It's true. It's true. Telegram is dead. Telegram is dead. Poor Telegram is dead. It was a horribly dysfunctional, well, on so many levels. It was a very dysfunctional platform. It's not easy to navigate. It's a terrible place to try and insult people. So I do not recommend. But yeah. Wow, my room is really pink. I found this balmy, calm before the storm ambiance. So I thought we would have it in the background. And then tomorrow morning I think there's something in Michigan. I think there's another set of preliminary examinations of Michigan fake electors. I just happened to be looking for that case again today, too. Sorry, something on my screen. And I saw that there might be something tomorrow morning. So I went ahead and set something, I think for 6:30. I don't even remember. But then I did it. Skadoobly doo boop ba doopy doo. Skadoobly doo boop ba doopy boo. Yeah, I was bummed actually. I did want to see him, and then I didn't really want to like hi butterflies. I didn't really want to like drive down. Yeah, drive down there. But I was gonna do it because like this is like not a once in a lifetime, but like he doesn't come to California all the time. How are you, butterflies? I hope you're good. Um. So I do need to figure out if I can find out where he's got to be going somewhere else in Southern California. There's just no way he goes to the one Denny's in Tustin and then it's like, okay, well, I guess I'll go back to Kansas or wherever the fuck he's from. I think he's from like Indiana. Hey, I'll save your spot. Don't worry. I've got a sign. I've got a reserve sign right here. I'll put it. Anybody tries to come into your spot, butterflies, I'm gonna tell them where to go. Money, 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 money. Skadoobly doo boop, be scoopy doo. Skadoobly doo boop, be scoopy doo. Yeah. Anyway, other than that, I had a really great day. I kind of knew that the battery wasn't gonna last forever, but I did think. Well, I did. I left something on last night. Oh well, but I knew it was on its way out, so it's all right. It's not the end of the world. It just mixed with my plans. My dastardly plans. But anyway, yeah. So let's see. I keep getting these documents and like wanting to read them, and I just like I'd rather take a nap. Do you ever have days like that? Where you'd like to actually get something accomplished that it feels like it'll be fun, it'd be fun to read some of these things. And then you just put your little head down on the little pillow and good night, Irene. Good night, ladies. Good night, ladies. Good night, ladies. It's time to say good night. I think my sound is a little weak. Oh, that's not great either. Good night, ladies. Good night, ladies. Good night, ladies. Ooh. Why? Yeah. 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 Yep. 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 Yeah. God, I didn't really. This is embarrassing. I didn't do anything today, like meaningful. Sometimes it's a Wednesday that feels like a Monday. Now it's a Monday that feels like a Sunday. Wait, that's a song. It's a Wednesday that feels like a Monday, but a Monday that feels like a Sunday. Excellent. Somebody came for your spot, but I kicked him in the nuts. It was very awkward. I'm going to regret drinking caffeinated soda. Strap in. I'm so thirsty. I need to drink water. Oh, actually, hi, Badger. I just ordered like a water service, Who am I talking about? No one. I'm not talking about anyone. I'm sorry. I was just going with the joke. I apologize. Yeah. No one came. No one came. Your spot was safe the whole time. Yeah, anyway, I did just get like, how you get like a 5-gallon jug a month. I think you have to get a minimum of 2 actually, so. Yeah. So as much as I hate water services, oh my God, I'm going to tell you right now, Telegram, I made a mistake. Oh my fucking God. Oh my fucking God. Where's the notifications? Notifications. Notifications. Off. On. Mm, okay, so that should take care of it for now, and then I'll uninstall Telegram later on tonight. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, you know what I have to do? I have to go to the gym. I do have a friend to go to the gym with me, which is awesome. I'm really excited about that. So I'm looking forward to it. But I gotta like carve out like specific time. I enjoy the gym. I know not everybody likes the gym. A lot of people like to exercise outside and stuff like that, and I like that too. Don't get me wrong, but I actually really enjoy the gym. I always have. But I need to like factor it in to my lazy schedule. I need to factor it into my nap schedule. But I better do that. I better do that. Oh, we are singing. Give peace a chance. Give peace a chance. Yeah, so I feel like I need a vacation. Don't sing, you'll put me to sleep. The sound has something going on. Oh, really? Okay, is it buzzing? Let me see. Is there any kind of buzzing? Make sure everything's connected. Let me know if you hear any kind of buzzing. Because I'm probably like too much gain on the microphone. And too much gain on the membrane. Too much gain in the brain. Too much gain in the mic. Too much gain in the membrane. Oh, I have hair. Before you were. Oh, okay. Okay. Hopefully now it's better. But thank you. Let me know. You know that girl. That girl's in love with you. I've been thinking about Burt Bacharach today. Well, I hope it's not buzzing now because that's annoying as fuck. Burt Bacharach. Well, that's not how you spell that. Wait, what is it? God, he really wrote some amazing songs. You see this guy. This guy's in love with you. You I'm in love. Who looks at you the way I do when you smile. I can't sing that high. What am I thinking? We know. I can't do that. You. You see this guy. This guy's in Yes, I'm in love. Who looks at you the way I do? When you smile, I can tell we know each other very well. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Okay. I don't know what yes means. It might mean that I'm still annoying people with the sound. Let me check the sound. I'll check it on the monitor. Okay. Let me see. I know what it is. Like a whooshing. It's like a whooshing sound, isn't it? Let me tell you how annoying all the boys and girls are. Hold on. Let me actually see if maybe this is the issue. Hold on. I can kind of hear it. Yeah, it's like a low buzzing. Huh. Drop my pot. Okay, wait. Let me just. Get out of the way. Make sure these are in. Get in there. Ugh. Ah! Everything's falling. All right, now I'm going to go back and test it. Hold on. That's annoying. I think I'm going live tomorrow morning around 6:30 in the for Pacific time and 9:30 Eastern because I think wait, no, maybe 7, I don't know. Sometime in early morning. I do. Why, Jane? What's the matter? Hold on, I gotta go quiet because I'm gonna go ahead and see what's going on. Oh, what's going on? Ah, they're fine. Don't worry about them. I'll get rid of her if I want to, or them. I don't give a shit. No, they're all up in arms because they got punked and they're starting to eat each other's faces off. And frankly, I'm just here with popcorn. So hold on, let me check the sound. Oopsie. Well, I guess that's good enough. You remind me of someone I used to know. Yeah. That's not what your mom said last night. Bye. Jane or Glory B or whatever you are. Oopsie. Well, I guess that's good enough. Oopsie. Oh, no. Don't. You remind me of someone I... Don't talk. Don't talk so loud, lady. Maybe it was the. It seems to be a little better now, but maybe not. Um. How do? Well, anyway. You remind me of someone I used to know. Someone I used to know. Someone I used to know. I don't know what I'm doing with this thing. I got this thing to put on top of the microphone, but it's like huge. But it was $5.99. So what am I supposed to do? Anyway, I should stop being so silly. Yeah, I'm gonna go live tomorrow morning because they are having I read somewhere. So today I was looking at the you know what I should do? I should stop touching this and then maybe it would be okay. I was looking at the I was just looking for information on the Michigan electors, and then all of a sudden, I saw something from earlier today from like this weird kind of like small outlet. It didn't even seem like a newspaper, but they said that they're going into court tomorrow. So I'm assuming, but I can't find anything online about it. But I'm kind of taking the chance that they might be doing the second group of fake electors for their preliminary examinations, because they did that in February and we watched that with like a group of fake electors. But there's another group, and I think that's what's happening tomorrow. So my plan was to go ahead and wake up early in the morning and see if we could, you know, if there was anything to watch. So that's what I'm going to do in case. Just in case. I working. Which actually 6:30 might work because I think they're Central Time, and I think that they start around 8:30 their time, I think. Yeah. So I'll probably I will be live then. And if not, I'm sure there's something else to watch. Although I looked at all the Senate and the House committees, and I don't see anything playing. I don't see anything playing. Um, Hi Siegfried, how are you? We should have known something about the what? The hall? The ball? The bale? Yeah, you mean the bale stuff that he had, Harry? Yeah, there's a whooshing. I'm so sorry. Don't be rude to those. Well, then that's all they really can do. Butterflies. It's fine. They're trying to work some stuff out. Tell me, who hurt you when you were a child? Was her name Mother? Yeah, I don't care. I've been, I've been called pretty much everything in the book, so I don't really give a shit. Um, I haven't been called Glory B though. That's one I haven't been called. You remind me, Glory B. That's a song. Everything DT touches is dirty. Yeah, the interesting thing is, uh, uh, I didn't hear much of, because I was napping. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. But I don't know what much of the David Pecker. Didn't his testimony start this afternoon? They got through just a tiny bit of it, did they not? Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe not. I'm so thirsty. I gotta drink water. I'm so excited to get the water delivery. I can't even tell you. Oh, so excited. I really do like water. I don't mind water, which I feel lucky to like water because I know a lot of people just don't like water. But I do love Diet Coke. And if I have Diet Coke, I'm going to drink that. So I better have water. Because then I won't drink Diet Coke. Because it keeps me up at night and it makes me burp. But let's smoke some weed. I think it was the connections, butterflies. Anyway, let's see. And the weather was kind of overcast today here. It was kind of cold. It was actually really cold. It was just kind of too bad. Oh, here. I forgot I had this. Here, Jane, wherever your name is. This is how much I care. Oops. I care that much. You know what I like about this camera? I don't have to wear a bra. I know that's been a theme. I understand that I've been like on that theme, but I'm serious. Like I don't have to. Oh, something about. Oh yes, there was a juror's dental appointment. That's right. They have a juror has a. I'm sorry, it's not funny because emergency dental appointments are terribly uncomfortable. But yes, there is a juror with an emergency dental appointment tomorrow, today or tomorrow. I don't know what. They're I don't know. They're ending early, like every day or something. I don't really understand it. But yeah. But I'm very interested to see. Oh, and then there was something about the transcripts being made available every night. Is that true? Did you guys hear anything about that? I was thinking that would be interesting. I sure want to get my hands on the Eastman transcripts. I understand they're expensive. That makes sense, right? Like that's a lot of work for someone, I think. Anyway, yeah. Yeah. So here we are. Monday, Monday. Oh, Monday morning. I can't sing. You know, I haven't been singing since I had a little bit of like medical stuff done. Um, I haven't been singing, so I think my voice is still. Well, I mean, I'm not saying my voice is as good anyway. Sorry, I'm not trying to be that person, but it's just not the same. It's worse than normal. Let's put it that way. Monday, Monday. Oh, Monday morning, Monday morning, couldn't guarantee that Monday evening you would still be here with me. You know what else I'd like to re-record? I'd love to re-record like Maria Muldaur songs in a lower key, of course, but that Midnight at the Oasis and stuff. I loved those songs when I was a kid. I used to think they were so good. Midnight at the Oasis. I would probably do it in a lower range, but anyway, I don't know. I'm just rambling. I'm just rambling. Rambling, 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 rambling. But yeah. Okay, I should start reading. Otherwise, no one will ever get to sleep. Just kidding. Just kidding. One of the jurors has a dental appointment. Yeah. Yep. What Bob said. Oh, it was today. I don't know why I thought their appointment was for tomorrow. I'm very confused. I think it was because of what George Papadopoulos posted. He posted something like it was a breaking news. Yeah, let them loose. Um, yeah, they're ending early all the time. That's crazy. Crazy. Oh, the titties? Yeah. Oh, you might be behind, butterflies. Or I might be behind. Am I dropping frames? We're dropping frames. Ooh, I'm so going to get rid of that telegram. Just keeps popping up Lynn Wood in the corner of my screen, and I'm just about ready to kick Lynn Wood in the screen. Yeah, let them loose. I got boobs. They're out there flying. That's funny. That's funny. I got boobs. They're out there flying. And I'm losing control. All right, I should read. No, stop. Stop it. Stop it, Lolo. Stop it. Okay. Let me see. I wonder. Yeah, no, that's fine actually. Ooh, ooh. Sorry, it shows the cursor. You know what? Wait, let me go ahead and say it. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't show the cursor. Eat, Santa, eat. Wait, what was I going to do? Oh, show cursor. That's right. Okay. I was like, I forgot what I was going to do. There we go. There we go, darlings. Now you don't have to watch the annoying cursor as it runs through the air. Ooh, hoo, hoo. Okay, come on, kitty, kitty. Come on, kitty, kitty. Come on, kitty, kitty. Yeah. Oh shit. Shitty balls. Okay. There we go. Is that why you look so tired? Is that why what? You are so tired? I don't know. I don't remember what I was talking about. Sorry. Maybe I don't know. Are you talking about the Diet Coke? Probably Diet Coke. Yeah, that's probably why I'm tired. Yeah, that's probably it. Okay. All right. We are reading Democracy Awakening by Heather Cox Richardson, who is a history professor at Boston University. Let me read this a little bit so I can whisper a little bit more. And Democracy Awakening is a recent bestseller that she released. Um, and it's about the threats. Oops. Uh oh. Uh oh. Oh, see? When in doubt. When in doubt, reboot. When in doubt. Oh, wow. It's going in and out. I don't know why it's going. Okay, is this better? This should be better. This should be better. Why does it keep fading? What is going on? Why is it doing that? I don't know why it's doing that. Test, 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 test. Test, test, test. Test, test, test. Wow, that's so weird. Test, 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 test. Test, 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 test. I know you can barely hear me. Can you hear me okay though? Because it seems like it's really low. Maybe I should stop touching it. I think it's going down. Okay. Test, 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 test. See, this is test, test, test. Wow. Okay. All right. Yeah. Hold on. Testing, testing. That's better. That's better. Hold on. Isn't it fun? Isn't it fun being with me? Here's the thing though, I will always like try. I know, like it was a bad connection. Isn't that weird? I don't know why it keeps like shitting the bed. Everything is fairly new. The cords are new. So I'm not sure why. That's okay though. Oh gosh, it's very. I think it's actually a very sensitive connection. I know. Sorry, I'm pathetic. I know that. I know. You don't need to tell me. I don't know if that's like too bright, isn't it? I have no idea what it is, Siegfried. I have no idea why it just fucking shits the bed in the middle of a sentence. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I didn't get to see my fucking. I went out finally. I was like, I wasn't actually gonna go, and then I was like, oh, I gotta go. I gotta go see Doug Frank. And then I went out to start my car, and my car didn't start because my battery was dead. So I think God, if there is a God, I guess God was trying to tell me, don't go see Doug Frank. And so I didn't, but I spent the rest of the day either taking a nap or looking for where Doug Frank is appearing next, because I feel like he's not going to leave Southern California right away, right? Like you can't, you have to like, you have to like, you have to do more than one stop in Southern California, right? You can't just do one stop. I don't know. I feel like it's the cage thing, the arm. Maybe I have it screwed into the arm the wrong way and the connections come out. I don't know. But what I do know is I fuck it up every time.
Oh well, just like Eeyore. Oh well.
Anyway, it's fine. No, I kind of knew my battery was on the way out. Like, how you know sometimes. And then I must have left the door open or the light on or, something. I don't know. It's hard to tell. I can never tell what I've done wrong. Anyway, California is a big state. It is a big state. And the thing about, well, I'll make excuses, but I will say that drive is particularly not pleasant. I don't find that drive to be pleasant at all down to Orange County. It's always a lot of traffic. It's always a lot of trucks in the roads, and they're just like assholes. And so I don't really love driving down there, but I will. But I don't know. It wasn't meant to be today. So I guess Doug Frank really lucked out because I didn't get there to mess his super moms up. But yeah, I'll see if I can find out where he is. I was talking about that earlier, Siegfried. I downloaded Telegram, which I now have to uninstall on my computer because it's so fucking annoying. And I don't even think that Doug Frank has a channel anymore on Telegram. I couldn't find it. I think Telegram's dead. That was what I proclaimed that earlier.
Telegram is dead. Poor Telegram is dead.
Okay. All right. I should get to reading. Get to reading, lady. All right. So we are going to read Democracy Awakening. We're going to start with chapter 26, and we'll see if we get any further than that. Please note that this book does have historical references that can be triggering and disturbing because they are painful historical events that happen to people. So, please consume with caution. And yeah, I think the most important thing is that you are right where you need to be if you're here. And that's perfectly fine. You have done everything anyone was expecting of you. And to this particular Monday that feels like a Sunday, it's over. It's gone. It's in the books. You don't even have to worry about it anymore. It's already passed. It can't hurt you anymore. This Monday can't hurt you anymore. Oh, yeah. It's just It's actually a very poorly designed application, Siegfried. It's amazing. It's really terribly designed. It's not easy to navigate. It's not very social. So it's kind of dumb. My nails are really dirty. I don't want to show you my nails. I think they're really dirty. Um anyway. Okay. So we're going to start with chapter 26 of this book, Democracy Awakening. Again, it's by Heather Cox Richardson, who is a professor of history at Boston University. And this is her bestseller. Yeah, I know. I think Telegram's dead. I don't know. It's like hair. There's hair on my microphone. Okay, here we go. Chapter 26. Of the people, by the people, for the people. Let me move this over just a little bit. Poopy faces. Come on. It's such a sensitive, like, oh, this web screen. Web screen. What the hell's a web screen? I don't even know. All right, hold on. Let me resize this. Mm, 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 mm. Here we go. Okay. All right. Just trying to make it a little bigger. See, it starts to like, my microphone also like, at least in my earphones, it kind of cuts out. Oops. There we go. All right. Here we go. Jiminy crickets, that took too long. Too long, too long. All right. Lincoln's vision gave the fledgling Republican Party a set of principles to reorganize the government into one that actively worked for ordinary men. Rather than simply protecting the property of wealthy slaveholders, the government would allow all men equal access to resources, including education, so they could be economically secure. Web screen. Yeah. Such a plan was not in the works when Republicans took power in March 1861, but a month later, the new government of the 7 seceding southern states fired on Fort Sumter, the federal fort in South Carolina's Charleston Harbor, formally launching the Civil War. The Republicans would have to innovate, and fast. Enlisting more than 2 million soldiers and sailors into the war effort, moving them, equipping them, and arming them would eventually cost the United States more than $5 billion. To raise the necessary funds, the Republican Congress invented national taxation. Lawmakers deliberately constructed revenue laws to shift ownership of the American government away from the bankers who had previously provided treasury funds to the American people. Then, worried that taxes high enough to raise the necessary income would crush poor men, the Republicans invented the nation's first income tax, graduating it into 2 different brackets of 3% and 5%. Quote, "The weight must be distributed equally," said Vermont Republican Representative Justin Smith Morrill, "not upon each man an equal amount, but a tax proportionate to his ability to pay." Republicans deliberately used tax policy to reinforce national interests over state power. They gave the federal government authority to collect the tax directly, to demonstrate that people were supporting the United States of America, not individual states. The federal government had a right to demand 99% of a man's property for an urgent necessity. Morrill said, "When the nation required it, the property of the people belongs to the government." As war costs mounted, far from objecting to taxes, Americans asked their congressmen to raise them out of concern about the growing national debt. Republican Senator John P. Hale of New Hampshire told his colleagues, quote, "The condition of the country is singular. I venture to say it is an anomaly in the history of the world. What do the people of the United States ask of this Congress? To take off taxes? No, sir. They ask you to put them on. The universal cry of this people is to be taxed." Hi, oomph. Having imposed taxes, lawmakers set out to enable men to pay them by using the government to give ordinary men access to resources. In 1862, they passed the Homestead Act, giving Western land to anyone willing to settle it. The Land Grant College Act, providing funds to establish state universities, the Act establishing the Department of Agriculture to provide scientific information and good seeds to farmers, and the Pacific Railway Act, providing for the construction of a railroad across the continent to get men to the fields and the mines of the West. Still, in 1863, after 2 years of battlefield losses that had disheartened democracy's defenders, it was not at all clear that the United States would survive. In November of that year, Lincoln spoke at the dedication of a national cemetery for the soldiers killed in the July 1863 Battle of Gettysburg. He urged Americans to uphold their history, dating the establishment of the country from the Declaration of Independence, which protected equality, rather than from the Constitution, which protected property. He warned them that the principles the founders had declared self-evident were now at risk. Quote, "Fourscore and 7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty, and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal," he told them. "Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation, or any nation so conceived and so dedicated, can long endure." Lincoln urged Americans to rededicate themselves to the great task remaining before us, asking them to here highly resolve that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. The Gettysburg Address marked the birth of a new nation, one that would not include human enslavement except as punishment for crime. In 1865, Congress passed the 13th Amendment to the Constitution, abolishing slavery, and sent it off to the states for ratification. But that amendment was not just about black freedom. For the first time in history, a constitutional amendment increased rather than decreased the power of the federal government. It provided that, quote, "Congress shall have the power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation." Lincoln's Republicans had re-envisioned liberalism. They reworked the founders' initial national government, held back by the framers through the Bill of Rights, into an active government designed to protect individuals by guaranteeing equal access to resources and equality before the law for white men and black men alike. They had enlisted the power of the federal government to turn the ideas of the Declaration of Independence into reality. When the armies of the United States defeated those of the Confederacy, it seemed that with the help of a newly active government, the ideology of the Declaration of Independence had triumphed once and for all. Northern leaders were convinced that white Southerners would cheer the end of the slave power and welcome the new government. They were so sure of that outcome that when General Robert E. Lee surrendered the Army of Northern Virginia at Appomattox Courthouse on April 9, 1865, General U.S. Grant required only that the officers promise that neither they nor their men would ever again fight against the United States. After turning over their military weapons and ammunition, they were allowed to keep their sidearms and horses. Grant wanted them to be able to put in a crop to carry themselves and their families through the next winter. But that leniency did not buy peace. Believing that something decisive and great must be done to save white supremacy and the states' rights on which it depended, the mentally unstable actor John Wilkes Booth shot President Lincoln on April 14th while he was at the theater. Even war could not shake some Southerners' devotion to their worldview. That included Lincoln's vice president, Democrat Andrew Johnson, who took over the presidency after Lincoln's death. Johnson wanted to end slavery for economic reasons. He believed it concentrated wealth and thus squeezed poor white men. But he had no intention of reordering the racial hierarchies of the South or of the nation. He readmitted to the body politic not the Southern black men who had fought to save the United States, but rather the Southern white men whose attempt to create a nation based in human enslavement had led to the deaths of more than 600,000 Americans and cost the United States more than $5 billion. Johnson offered blanket amnesty to all former Confederates who took an oath of loyalty to the United States, except for a few high-ranking officers and those worth more than $20,000. To them he promised generosity that he promptly delivered. He pardoned all but 1,500 of them over the summer of 1865. Oops, hold on. That lack of accountability immediately undermined the rule of law in the southern states. Southern state legislatures tried to circumscribe the lives of Black Americans with black codes that prohibited Black people from owning firearms, for example, or congregating. They had to treat their white neighbors with deference and were required to sign year-long work contracts every January or be judged vagrants, punishable by arrest and imprisonment. White employers could get them out of jail by paying their fines, but then they would have to work off their debt in a system that was not technically racial slavery, but was not much different. With Johnson urging them on, racist white Southerners attacked their Black neighbors and in 1866 launched race riots in Memphis and New Orleans that killed dozens of people. Violence against Black Americans did not make Johnson rethink his plans to put former Confederates back in power. So long as Southern states abolished enslavement, repudiated Confederate debts, and nullified the ordinances of secession, Johnson was happy to readmit them to the full standing in the Union. There was no way Northern Republican lawmakers were going to rebuild Southern society on the same blueprint that had existed before the Civil War, especially since the upcoming 1870 census would count Black Americans as whole persons for the first time in the nation's history. Giving Southern states more power in Congress and the Electoral College after the war than they had before it. Having just fought a war to destroy the South's ideology, Northern lawmakers were not about to let it regrow in peacetime. Congress rejected Johnson's plan for Reconstruction. After months of hearings and debate, Congress proposed its own plan. It called for amending the Constitution to protect the rights of Black Americans in states where they could neither vote nor testify in a court or sit on a jury to protect their own interests. 1863, year before AZ passed abortion. Yes, Siegfried. Congress's solution was the 14th Amendment. It nullified the Dred Scott decision that said Black Americans were inferior to white Americans, saying, quote, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. The amendment also addressed the Dred Scott decision in another profound way. It gave the federal government power to protect individuals even if their state legislatures had passed discriminatory laws. It said, quote, no state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. That's quite a sentence. While the Constitution guaranteed that citizens everywhere were entitled to the privileges and immunities of citizens, the 14th Amendment affirmatively guaranteed that no state could discriminate against anyone. It went on to say that Congress shall have power to enforce, by appropriate legislation, the provisions of this article. On July 9, 1868, Americans changed the U.S. Constitution for the 14th time, adapting it to construct a new nation in which the federal government would guarantee that citizens of every state would be equal before the law. In 1870, Congress put teeth behind that guarantee, creating the Department of Justice, whose first job was to bring down the Ku Klux Klan terrorists in the South. Ideally, of course, states would write fair laws and treat citizens equally without federal interference, and when it turned out that the 14th Amendment didn't protect Black voting, Congress passed and sent off to the states for ratification the 15th Amendment to the Constitution, guaranteeing Black men the right to vote. When the 15th Amendment was added to the Constitution in 1870, most American men believed that the system had been fixed. The right to vote should protect all interest in the states. The Civil War and its aftermath were America's second attempt at creating a nation based on the Declaration of Independence, establishing once and for all the supremacy of the federal government, and using it to guarantee equality before the law and equal access to resources. And that is chapter 26. I'll stop there for a moment and hope that my microphone doesn't go out. Hold on. Hello. How is everyone? Anyway, yeah. Yeah. We had some sound issues earlier, oomph. So it's kind of a crapshoot here at the lounge. All right, let's go on. Let's do another chapter. Oops. There we go. Chapter 27. All right. No, don't be weird. Okay. Here we go. Chapter 27. America Renewed. When General Robert E. Lee surrendered his Army of Northern Virginia to General U.S. Grant on April 9th, 1865, in the parlor of Wilmer McLean's home in Appomattox Courthouse, Virginia, he was taken aback by the sight of Lieutenant Colonel Eli Parker, an engineer on Grant's staff. Then Lee realized that Parker was an indigenous American, a member of the Seneca Nation. "I am glad to see one real American here," Lee allegedly said. Parker responded, "We are all Americans." Parker's reply, even if, maybe especially if, it was apocryphal, captured an important truth. Many Americans thought the bloodshed of the battlefields had paid for the blood drawn by the lash, freeing the nation to realize its full potential. For a few years it seemed they might be right. The nation might protect civil rights in the states and make sure people had access to the vote to guarantee that laws reflected the will of the majority. Although elite white men fell back into believing that they alone should have power, the 14th and 15th Amendments had created the possibility that the United States could become a multicultural and even perhaps multigendered democracy. For the next several generations, those excluded from an equal seat at the table would redefine what it meant to be an American, keeping a dream of human equality alive. The 14th Amendment had expanded citizenship to, quote, "all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof," but it introduced the word male into the Constitution for the first time. While it left to the states to determine who could vote, that insertion suggested that members of Congress were not inclined to end the nation's patriarchal system. Women had just backed the U.S. government with their money, buying bonds and paying taxes, with their loved ones, sending their sons and husbands and fathers off to war, with their labor, working in factories and fields and taking over from men in the nursing and teaching professions, and even with their lives, spying and fighting for the U.S. government. Women like Boston abolitionist Julia Ward Howe, the author of the Battle Hymn of the Republic, claimed the right to have a say in the post-war nation. When Congress did not explicitly include women in the 15th Amendment in 1870, suffragists decided to simply assert their right to vote. According to the 14th Amendment, anyone born in the U.S. was a citizen. If so, women were certainly citizens and thus should be able to vote. In 1872, they held a vote-in across the nation, and in New York State, suffragist Susan B. Anthony successfully cast a ballot. She was later tried and convicted in an all-male courtroom in which she did not have the right to testify for the crime of voting. Meanwhile, in Missouri, a voting registrar named Reese Happersett refused to permit suffragist Virginia Minor to register. Minor sued him, and the case worked its way up to the Supreme Court. In 1875, the justices handed down the unanimous Minor v. Happersett decision, agreeing that women were indeed citizens, but saying that citizenship did not necessarily convey the right to vote. Minor v. Happersett was a profound blow to the idea of equality. In the South, it paved the way for white supremacists to keep black Americans from the polls in 1876, returning white supremacists to power that would not be broken until after the passage of the 1965 Voting Rights Act, 89 years later. In the West, it justified the practice of excluding non-white people from voting by using naturalization laws from the early 19th century that limited naturalization to free white immigrants. Soon the nation's lawmaking was back in the hands of elite white men. In 1882, Congress passed the Chinese Exclusion Act, prohibiting the immigration of workers from China, and in 1884 the Supreme Court ruled that unassimilated Indians were not U.S. citizens. In 1889, an attempt to protect black voting made lynching spike, and in 1890, Mississippi wrote a new constitution preventing black men from voting on grounds other than race. All but one state in the country, Massachusetts, followed suit, adding poll taxes, literacy clauses, and so on to limit participation in government by immigrants as well as by black and brown Americans. The attempt to disenfranchise black, brown, poor, and female Americans was, in part, a response to their demonstration that they embraced the characteristics of the American dream as the Republicans set it out during the war. Indeed, in the late 19th century, marginalized people increasingly defined that dream for white Americans. When black Southerners began to move to the West after the redemption of the South by white supremacists, they explained to the Senate that they wanted not only physical safety, but also education, fair wages, property, and the right to have a say in the government under which they lived. Excluded from rights by their states, the exodusters, as they were called, publicly articulated a national identity based in the old vision of the Lincoln Republicans. After the war, Americans who could not vote deliberately wrote themselves into a worldview that called for education, hard work, and prosperity. Books like Horatio Alger's 1868 best-selling Ragged Dick, the rags to riches story of a booth, boot black, I don't know what that means, a boot black who studies and works hard to become a prosperous businessman. Oh, it's shoe, like a shoe shiner, yeah, someone who repairs boots. As a model for rising, presented these characteristics as a model for rising white boys. Those seeking a foothold in the post-war world used their mastery of those same characteristics to demonstrate how much they too belonged. Key to this belonging was education. Before the war, educating enslaved people had been a crime in southern states. After emancipation, formerly enslaved Americans recognized that their inability to read and write placed them at the mercy of men who could, and they made education a priority. Indigenous Americans eager to adapt to the white man's world did the same, a drive that had tragic consequences when government officials insisted on educating children away from their parents. Those claiming a stake in the new country centered their personal histories around education. Booker T. Washington's 1901 autobiography, Up from Slavery, famously told of how he worked in a salt mine and a coal mine before enrolling at Hampton Normal, an agricultural institute, where he worked as a janitor to pay for his room and board. I'm not going to say this right. Ohayasa, Asante, Dakota, and Yankton, Dakota, Zitkailas Shah. I'm so sorry, I mispronounced those names. Also highlighted their education in their writings. Ohiesa worked his way up through medical school at Boston University, from which he got his degree in 1890, the first Indigenous American certified in Western medicine. Shitkala Sa became a well-known writer and musician. I really apologize for butchering those beautiful names. Hi, Jen. When formerly enslaved minister George Washington Williams published his groundbreaking two-volume, The History of the Negro Race in America from 1619 to 1880, in 1882, he devoted 2 chapters to the attempts of white Americans to keep black Americans uneducated. He concluded with a section extolling the black population's, quote, wonderful achievements as a laborer, soldier, and student. This remarkable people have now 14,889 schools, with an attendance of 720,853 pupils. And this does not include the children of color who attend the white schools of the northern states, he added. Women, too, pushed for the right to attend school. Post-war prosperity gave more families and resources to educate their daughters, and quiet girls like Laura Jane Adams of Rockford, Illinois, the motherless daughter of a prominent businessman and politician, set off to class with their books. Mary Church of Memphis, who went by Molly, did the same. 3 years younger than Adams, Church was the daughter of a prosperous businessman father and an entrepreneurial mother, both of whom had formerly been enslaved. By the end of the 19th century, women made up more than half of the country's high school graduates. A steady stream of newly educated young women headed to newly opened women's colleges, where previously isolated young women like Adams and Church learned higher mathematics, history, theory, and law, and crucially, made lifelong friendships. Education represented a commitment to work hard. Black leaders constantly emphasized the hard work of black Americans, sometimes noting that they had, after all, produced the extraordinary wealth of the Old South. Black newspapers made much of a rising black middle class in border states and the West, downplaying the grinding poverty that characterized much of the late 19th century South. And business people like hair care product mogul Madam C.J. Walker and Wall Street broker Jeremiah Hamilton rose to prosperous heights. Among indigenous Americans, Comanche cattle rancher Quanah Parker did the same. Once people were educated and prosperous, the next stage of the Lincolnian vision was for them to take part in the cultural and scientific advancement of the nation. There, too, formerly excluded Americans shone. Hundreds of vibrant black newspapers under the direction of people like George Ruby T. Thomas Fortune and Ida B. Wells explored the country from the perspective of its black citizens. Asian and Mexican immigrants told their own stories, and New Histories of Women and of Black America by Elizabeth Cady Stanton and George Washington Williams made it clear that the country had never been exclusively white and male. Memoirs by labor leaders Terence V. Powderly and Samuel Gompers confirmed that it had never been exclusively wealthy either. Fine art by people like Edmonia Lewis, a sculptor of black and indigenous heritage, who carved into marble images of abolitionists and indigenous Americans, and painter Harry Osawa Tanner drew international attention. Scientists like George Washington Carver, who popularized southern crop rotation and experimented extensively with peanut crops, helped to address the problems of the New Age. Visibly disproving white supremacist, racist, and sexist characterizations of them, people who were unable to vote claimed their place in American society by publicly celebrating the characteristics of the American dream. But they never celebrated the individualism white politicians preached. Instead, they repeatedly held up the nation's promise of equality to demonstrate its failings. Indigenous Americans went to battle against a government whose ideology depended on the theft of their lands. When forced onto reservations, they published books and articles explaining their traditions and noting that so-called Christians seemed far less Christian than those practicing traditional religions. When government officials broke treaties, indigenous men like Hunkpapa Lakota Sitting Bull and Comanche leader Quanah Parker visited Washington to demand the government honor them. They sued for their rights. In Tennessee, for example, after the Supreme Court struck down civil rights legislation in 1883, Ida B. Wells tested the court's decision by riding in a first-class railroad car. When the conductor physically dragged her out of her seat, Wells not only bit him, a potentially deadly act in an era before antibiotics, she sued. Initially, she won, but the Tennessee Supreme Court ultimately reversed the decision, claiming Wells was not acting in good faith. Shut out from the law, she turned to journalism to publicize the attacks on black people. 12 years later, in 1895, Wong Kim Ark, an American-born child of Chinese immigrants, was denied re-entry into the U.S. after a visit to China. He sued, arguing that the 14th Amendment established a birthright citizenship, and he won. In the 1898 United States v. Wong Kim Ark decision, the Supreme Court determined that the children of immigrants to the U.S., no matter how unpopular immigration was at the time, were U.S. citizens, entitled to all the rights and immunities of citizenship, and that no act of Congress could overrule a constitutional amendment. Those excluded from political power leveraged their networks and communities to change society. Molly Church, who was now known by her married name of Mary Church Terrell, had become an educator. She worked with black journalist Josephine St. Pierre Ruffin, publisher of the newspaper The Woman's Era, to bring together suffrage and civil rights. Along with Ida B. Wells and others, sorry, my nose is itchy. I might be kissing a fool. It's good to hear you, or it's good to see you. I don't know. Let's see. Where did I go? Here we go. Along with Ida B. Wells and others, they fought lynching. Jane Addams and others established settlement houses in the immigrant areas of big cities that brought new and old Americans together to begin to clean up urban streets and tenements. These activists used their educations to document the lives of working women and men. They gathered information looking at everything from factory conditions and pay to health and work-related injuries, and used it to pressure lawmakers to address those poor conditions, especially for women and children. Women were also coming to realize their power as consumers. In 1891, Florence Kelley, the daughter of a Civil War congressman, and Josephine Shaw Lowell, the sister of Union officer and abolitionist leader Robert Gould Shaw, organized the National Consumers League to pressure industrialists to treat their workers better. Quote, to live means to buy means to have power means to have responsibility, Kelly said. Working men helped to reinforce the idea. Oh my God, my nose running. Working men helped to reinforce the idea that the American system depended on those working their way up rather than on wealthy elites. When it turned out that wartime contracting and financial policy had privileged the wealthy, workers in 1866 organized the first national labor union. They called for the government to establish an 8-hour day, higher wages, and better working conditions. In 1882, they organized the first Labor Day parade in New York City, carrying banners that read, "Labor built the Republic and labor shall rule it. Labor creates all wealth. No land monopoly, no money monopoly. Labor pays all taxes. The laborer must receive and enjoy the full fruit of his labor, and the true remedy is organization and the ballot." In 1894, President Grover Cleveland made Labor Day a national holiday. Working men forged connections that bridged the old world of rural communities and the new world of urban industry. Keeping alive the camaraderie of the war, they organized into fraternal organizations that established the idea of mutual aid and stability in an unstable era that championed individualism. The Grand Army of the Republic, the Knights of the Pythias, the Patrons of Husbandry, also known as the Grange, and the Oddfellows provided life insurance policies for their members and made sure that the widows and children of their unfortunate brothers didn't starve. Members mixed together across class lines and sometimes even across racial lines. Even as white men limited suffrage and murdered some of those who claimed their right to have a say in their government, Black Americans, people of color, women, and workers had never lost sight of the Declaration of Independence. At the turn of the 20th century, Black cowboy Nat Love, who had become a Pullman porter, wrote the tale of his journey from enslavement to prosperity. In it, he described a world in which even the racism and structural inequalities of the late 19th century could not hold him back. Quote, "This grand country of ours is the peer of any in the world, and volumes cannot begin to tell the wonders of it. I have seen a large part of America, and am still seeing it, but the life of 100 years would be all too short to see our country. America, I love thee, sweet land of liberty, home of the brave and the free." In an era of pervasive and violent repression, people who were legally excluded from equality kept the idea of American democracy alive for everyone. They also suggested a way forward. All right, I'm gonna. Okay, hold on. How many chapters? Oh, we have 3 more chapters. Right? Yeah, that's okay. We'll stop there. Hello. Hello, mother. Hello, father. When I had my, I don't know if you were in here, but when I had my thing in my thing, it, the sound went out. So now I have to hold it. You know, I think I dropped my weed and I never picked it up. That's right. And someone said I look like Glory B. Is that true? I don't think so. Oh no, I remind them of Glory B. I was wondering why that is. Well, this book is actually really good because it's giving me like an overview of some things that I had forgotten about or had never really retained. So I'm actually really happy to have this book. But we're almost done with this book. So I need another book. What's our next book? Anybody know? Anybody know what kind of book it is? Anybody know what kind of book it is? Anybody know? I'm tired again. Maybe it's time for another nap. Oh, you can't see the role of the church. Wait, which book is that? Which book is that? See, whoops. I have a lava lamp. Can't see the lava lamp. There it is. The role of the church. Is that the name of a book? I'm not thinking straight. Oops. Wow. I have to hold this right here. I wonder, is that okay? Can I do that? Is that bad? I feel like that might be less intimidating than having that big puffy ball in front of my face. But maybe this doesn't sound any good. I don't know. How are you supposed to talk to this thing? Are you supposed to talk like this? I think this is better, actually. If I had to vote, I would want something about active measures. Yeah, you have a vote. Flynn book. No! 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 No flim flam. I don't want to read his book. I tried to listen to Whatever Happened Today, but took a nap instead. Oh my God. That's so funny you say that because I basically took a nap. I took many naps today. Many. Many. Well, first I fixed my car battery. That was the first thing I did. I did get my car battery fixed. But after that, I went to bed. All I was doing was, what was I doing? I said it earlier. Now I can't remember. So I'm probably going to come up with something else. But yeah, I know. It was stupid. I knew my battery was going. I don't know. I think I left something like my door ajar last night. I don't know. It was dumb. Anyway, I needed a new battery anyway. But so that's fine. But yeah, right? So then I was like, oh well, fuck everything. I'm going to go to No, I just kept falling asleep. I actually tried to stay awake. I tried to stay awake. That's all. You're both outgoing. So I don't know what happened. What happened? Well, today was the Trump trial, and Pecker. Did Pecker get on the stand? See, I kind of missed the play-by-play because I don't. I think the last time I heard, Pecker was going to get on the stand, but you do. Why don't you? Why don't you? If you want to, just send me a couple, Siegfried. That'd be great. I kind of want to read like an Ann Nelson or something, but something new. I should look and see. What's on the bestseller list? What's on the bestseller list? Me, 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 me. Anyway, yeah, I should figure out what's what. I know, I love this lava lamp. I got it at Target. You do need a lava lamp. I like how pink I got the room to be, though. That's pretty cool. Works better. Yeah, it does work better. I don't know. Anyway, I should probably let you guys go. I just wanted to stay on with you because I was bored. You guys are fun. Ow. I'm not reading that book. Yeah, I think I'd like to read something like that. I don't know. Okay, anyway, sorry. I'm like spacing out. So tomorrow morning, I think there is another case in the Michigan fake electors. So please join me. I don't know if it's exactly at the time I put, which was 6:30 Pacific, which would be 8:30 Mountain, 9:30 Eastern. I don't think I think that's the right time, but I don't know because I can't find anything. But it should be Judge Simmons in Michigan. So it 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 should be that. It should be that. So please join me tomorrow morning. And then Thursday, we have a very exciting SCOTUS thing to listen to Thursday morning. Don't forget about that. Anyway, and then I still have to do my drive because I think I'm about to lose any flowers that we might have here, and I'm fucking pissed off at myself. But that's the way the cookies crumble. Okay, I'm gonna go. Thank you so much for coming. You and I had the same kind of day, right? Okay, good, Siegfried. I'm glad to hear that. Well, guess what? I'm so happy this day's over. I hope you're happy this day's over. Hard turn into truth. Really? Okay, good, Jen. I'm glad to hear that. I feel like all of us must have missed everything. I was waiting for the pecker. I guess we're going to hear him tomorrow morning. We'll have to check in on that while we're watching the other thing. Okay. So, I will see you all tomorrow. We're going to get back into it. Siegfried, don't worry. I've got you. I'm getting back into the swing of things. We're going to get back into the swing of things. Ooh, Ann Nelson, she's like great. Democracy in Chains. She's really good. Shadow Network. Shadow Network is something I wouldn't mind reading. Shadow Network. I wouldn't mind reading that. What's too fast? What's too fast? What's too fast? Anyway. Yeah, we're doing good. We're reading. We've read 2 books so far. We're real smart. No, I'm just kidding. That would be great. Yeah, I would like that. Oh, it is. Yeah, I guess it is kind of fast. I don't know. I know what you mean though. Anne is better than active. Oh. Uh Yeah, there's a few good books. And there is one about like the church and stuff. I wouldn't mind reading that. About the family or whatever it was. I don't know, like evangelical. Although I don't know. I feel like that stuff's gone. The naps are too fast or too short. Agreed. Agreed. Oh my God. Okay, part of it. I think you watched part of this because you made a funny tweet about it. If I'm not mistaken. When you said Stephen Wright, I think of Dreamweaver. Ooh, Dreamweaver, I believe you can get me through the night. Yeah, that's what I when you say Stephen Wright. That's what ooh, Dreamweaver. Anyway. So I guess I will see you tomorrow morning. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hopefully you guys can make it. I really hope you can. We'll find a book. I'll find some choices and start giving choices. I feel like I still want to stick with nonfiction. I'm not ready to make the switch to fiction yet, but we should do a fiction book at some point. I wouldn't mind doing a fiction book that's like calming and nice and like sweet. All right, it's time to go to bed. What the hell? Smoke weed every day. Believe me, that is the thing to do. All right. I love you very much. I love you all very much. Very, very, very much. And I will see you. I will see you very early in the morning. Okay? All right. Okay. Goodbye. Whoops. Whoops. I mean it. Goodbye.